Chapter 4 Current. Whoever touches the death note can see you, right? That's a problem. I don't think you came here because you enjoy the ambience. What are you up to? Light? Yeah, you can't exactly pass me off as a friend. Ryuk, listening. Nope. My sister would have a heart attack just from seeing your face. BWF. From the estimated time of the victim's deaths, I told the task force that there was a strong possibility Kira is a student. He was showing me that he can set the time of death. And then, as if mocking the very notion, the next day, Kira eliminated 23 prisoners at intervals of exactly 1 hour and did the same thing again the next day. Does that mean he managed to dupe me? Until then, Kira was setting the time of death to lead me to the conclusion that the perpetrator was a student. What's Kira's real aim in letting me know that? That's the main point. But the bigger issue is that Kira has some way of obtaining information known only to the task force. I have to do something about that. Police information is leaking to Kira. Regardless, what is he trying to do? Go somewhere the police can't see or hear you and link me up to the director of the FBI. I'm outside. What is it? Leave the task force office for a moment. Vatari, it's me. I need some things for hiding the notebook. Now for some shopping. At the same time, it has to be someplace my family would never touch it. I want to hide it in my room where I can easily take it out and put it back. If he wants to catch Kira, he needs a confession from me or the death note. One or the other. L is starting to suspect people involved in the investigation. And by now. So if I'm hiding it anyway, I might as well put it someplace they'll never find, even if they come to the house with a search warrant. And that's the advantage you were talking about if the cops start closing in. Your dad's the NPA's chief of detectives, so you can use him to find out what the cops know. Someone in the background says thank you. Light thinks. Ryuk says, hey Light, can I ask you a question? So I can stay right on top of the investigation. I can even hack into my dad's computer from mine without leaving a trail. Isn't it a lot worse to have him realize you have a link to the cops than to have him think you're a student? But why did you deliberately do something to make L suspect people involved in the investigation? Remember what I told you about human beings being foolish, two-faced creatures. But you don't have a very good understanding of human beings yet. Ryuk listens. Very good. Ryuk, so you noticed that was strange. If all I do is hide the notebook, I'm not going to find him. Am I? I want to find L and eliminate him. The answer to your question is, in human society, there are very few people who truly trust each other. That's true even within the police. He's going to look for me within the NPA. Now that L knows I have access to task force information, who would trust someone who keeps his name and face hidden from you? They don't trust each other at all. Never have. When it comes to the police and L, well, I guess they actually are working together. On the face of it, L and the police are working together to catch me. And when that happens, it'll just be a matter of time before the cops get really mad. But behind the scenes, L will be spying on the police. And the police will be trying to track down L. So L is not going to be found by me. I'm positive that the one who's going to have the police closing in on him first is L, not Kira. And then I'll eliminate him. The police will take care of that part for me. What the hell is this? Letter of resignation. Exactly what it says. A letter of resignation. But why? Either you put me on another case, sir, or if you can't do that, I leave the NPA. Why? Because I value my life. Sir, if I were Kira, I'd try to get rid of the people who are trying to catch me. Because if we catch him, he gets the death sentence. According to Ellis' reasoning, Kira uses some paranormal means to kill people without having direct contact with them. Correct? That time he pulled the stunt with a televised broadcast, L dared Kira to kill him. He wanted to know if photographs or footage showing their faces were included in the reports. And then, the other day, he told us to check how the victims had been reported in the Japanese media. But L never announced his name or even showed his face in that broadcast. We don't hide our faces. we are right out there in the open. In other words, unlike L, we all do our work carrying police I.D.S with our photographs right there on them. Well, they were. Every single victim so far was someone whose face was shown in Japanese media reports. Kira could get us anytime. And that's why we're requesting a transfer, sir. We've got families, sir. But, hey, wait a minute. So for Kira to murder somebody, he needs to know what they look like, at the very least. That and, yeah, we're sitting ducks while El just leaves Vatari here and talks to us through his computer. They're right when you think about it. Ryuk, you managed to hide the notebook? Light. Yup, that was easier than I thought. Ryuk, does that count as a hiding place? It's hidden inside this drawer. I can just keep the key in there. It's better to hide it someplace obvious looking like this. Most people would probably just read this diary with its boring descriptions of what I do every day and think that's what I was keeping under lock and key. That's not the death note. It's just a plain old diary. Light explaining drawer key and its mechanism. On the underside of the drawer is a tiny hole. You wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. The ink cartridge of a ballpoint pen. You stick this into the hole. Something nobody would be surprised to find lying around my desk. I get it. The drawer has a false bottom. This is why you spent so much time at that store picking out a book. Even if they suspect the drawer has a false bottom, they'll never be able to just lift the notebook out like this. Light, that's not all. Ryuk, I guess nobody will find the notebook with that diary as a decoy and this. The ink cartridge is plastic, so it doesn't conduct electricity. Unless you stick it in here, a current will pass through this and ignite the gasoline in this thin plastic bag. The notebook will go up in flames, just like the one I tried outside this afternoon. See this? In other words, unless you open it exactly like this. When I close the false bottom, this rubber here goes between the metal pieces, so it replaces the ink cartridge as the insulator, and the current stays interrupted. If they question why I went to all this trouble, I just have to say that was my real diary, and I didn't want anyone to see it. That's the most human of reasons, and there will be the remains of a notebook in there, after all. The notebook goes up in flames, and all the evidence is completely destroyed. If you turn the drawer over or force the cover open, the moment you do that. But I bet you're the first one who went this far. Light. I'd heard that when humans get hold of a death note, finding a hiding place for it becomes their number one headache. I'd hardly call this play. Ryuk. And anyway, playing with fire, if you make even a little mistake opening this, you'll burn yourself really bad. Still, talk about playing with fire. Light. I've been playing with fire from the start, taking all kinds of risks. And each of those risks actually helped make me safer. Ryuk listening, what's better, having a small fire in the house or getting the death penalty? Huh? Scene shift to FBI headquarters. Yes, that's right. I'm requesting that you conduct a thorough, top-secret probe of all NPA personnel involved in the Kira case, as well as their close friends and families. The number of American criminals believed to be Kira's victims is 15,327. That's by far the most worldwide. But we're already putting a lot of manpower into this case. Yes, in fact, I'm sure of it. L, are you suggesting one of them may be Kira? And please do the best you can. We have to stop Kira as soon as we can. Thank you. All. Right? We'll do as you ask. Here the chapter ends.